First there was Hony, and then there was Sony. First there was Boyu, and now there's Goyu. It's not actually Goyu, it's Goyu. But that's really hard for us to pronounce, so we're just going to call it what they call it, and that's the Smartbook V5 color. This is an all-new flush screen and bezel 7.8-inch color note-taking e-reader, and it's really the only other choice and competition to the Nova 3 color, which we'll get to in a little bit. Now, ever so evidently, this looks like the Big Me, because they just took the Big Me hardware, and when you're going to be looking into the video, you'll notice something else. This is coming from a company in mainland China, but it's running English, and why do you think that's important? Because we have had a slurry of devices from Xiaomi, iReader, iFlyTech, and none of them have any English, or any other language for that matter. And this is limiting to your clientele, and it makes your device a little bit useless outside of mainland China. Now, to be fair, these devices were never really meant to be sold outside of mainland China, and we're really the only people that bring these to the masses. But without further ado, let's dive in. At least to us, this looks like the operating system has been completely scraped from the Onyx Books line of devices. Not to mention, as we said earlier in the video, that this is a clone of the Big Me devices. So they're using a whole bunch of things. It's an amalgamation of a bunch of things. So you have notebook, storage, app, and settings on the left. You have your top bar that scrolls down with a glow light. We'll show you that later. You have Wi-Fi, Bluetooth. Unfortunately, you don't have any speed mode. Speed up is not a speed mode. It just clears the cache, so it speeds it up, so to speak, but it's not an A2 mode and you can't watch videos and stuff like that. Without triggering any sort of scribble, you can write on EPUBs right away, and that's pretty nice because it gives you the ability to underline, scribble things, make parentheses, and of course the eraser works very quick, so you can just go ahead and erase all the notes you've done, and everything saves automatically, so you can go to the next page, circle back to it, and it'll be there. You also do have the ability to long press. Now, the stock reading apps are going to be in Chinese, but you can sideload in your own APKs into any reading application you want. The same thing holds true with the PDF experience. If you don't like the stock PDF reader, just download Adobe or anything else. Page turns are very quick, just inherently, because, well, this is 2021. If we were having trouble with page turn speeds, we would have to rethink our lives. You can write right out of the box. You do have the ability to long press as well, but again, it's going to be in the respective language of the respective application. This one does have some translation and dictionary abilities. This one is called XPDF. It comes pre-bundled. You don't have to use it if you don't want. This being 7.8 inches, it's the perfect screen size for graphic novels, comics, and manga alike. You can see that it formats itself okay. It's going to be dependent on the file itself. If your file itself is not formatted from where you downloaded it, much like this one, it might not fit to width, etc. You'll have to find a reading application that will better suit your needs. But the color is quite nice. This is running Kaleido 2.5 or Kaleido 2 or Kaleido Plus, whatever you want to call it. But it is running the latest and greatest, all the ones that the Onyx Books Nova 3 color is going to run, etc. Mainland Chinese devices usually don't allow you to go to Google and YouTube because they don't have that there. They have their own world of Migu and Baidu and WeChat ecosystems. To their credit, they do allow you to do that. We've gone over to the Goody Reader website and you can go ahead and scroll through whatever you want. Now, you do get a little bit of an A2 mode when you scroll. You can see that the image does dissolve a little bit, but you don't get a true system-wide A2 mode or speed modes for that matter, so it is just going to be what it is. You do have pinch and zooming here without the help of any sort of percentage or minimap. It's just some plus and minus on the bottom right corner, but gun to your head, you could do web browsing on this unit. I wouldn't say this is the most extensive note-taking experience, but it's decent. You get 3 different pens or writing utensils. You get pen, pencil that has a little bit of grit to it, and you get brush. You do have some colors as well. You have black, red, green, blue, yellow, pink, and light blue. Why they had 2 types of blue and no orange is a little bit beyond me. 3 different erasers allow you to do stroke, range, or selection, and all. You have undo, redo at the top with text input that is very simple. You also have picture input, which sounds exciting, but it doesn't work because you have to sign in, and you can't sign in without a mainland Chinese phone number. It does have some very nice templates like calligraphy, business model, and it has a fair number of them. There's 23. You can also load in your own from the local storage. Screen rotation is pretty standard. It goes to landscape. You have delete page, full brush, which swipes everything away, and you also have transcribed text, which is handwriting conversion. So you can backtrack to things you've already taken notes of, like page 4, for example, and then click confirm, and it'll go over to page 4 and convert what you have written. And even though it is a Chinese-based device, it does do English no problem. And then from there, you can do bold, underline, italicize, etc. Something else pulled directly from Onyx is the precise imagery of the settings menu. You have the version here, more settings down below, system update, calibration, and an unknown login to my smart notebook. That lack of A2 mode really just prevents it from watching any sort of video, although I must say, unfortunately and fortunately, this is one of the best experiences in color without a speed mode that we've seen. Should you buy the... Well, a lot of people are asking, why don't I just buy a Nova 3 Color? Why don't I just buy a Nova 3 Color? And you know what? We did look at the specs and we did do a little bit of a deep dive into the back end of pretty much all of their promotional information and the little package they sent us when they sent us the e-reader. You're right. There's not a whole lot of redeeming qualities about this when put up against the Nova 3 Color. And why are we comparing it directly against the Nova 3 Color? Because the Goyu, or only has two competitors, which are the Bigme S3 Color, which it is white labeled off of, but this is $300 more than the Smartbook V5, so that's out. And your only other choice is the Nova 3 Color. Now, the Nova 3 Color is phenomenal. You do get pretty much everything on here. It has everything that the Smartbook V5 has, but more, with Google Play from a company with a 10-year track record and proper warranty and customer service. So yeah, you would probably want to buy the Nova 3 Color, but let's give them a chance because there are a few things that make the Goyu stand out. And to see, we gotta go to the blackboard. So if you look at all the specs side by side, you have the Bigme, the Smartbook, and the Onyx. The Bigme is not really competition because it doesn't even have English, so that's out. So we're left with the Smartbook V5 and the Onyx Book's Nova 3 Color. Now the Goyu is actually 25 grams lighter than the Onyx. It also has a better screen to body ratio. It's thinner, smaller, and shorter than the Onyx. It also has global handwriting. What is global handwriting? Well, it's this. You can write all over the menu and all over the home screen and the sides and every part of the unit. I'm not entirely sure why you'd want this. I suppose it would be interesting for instructional purposes, so you circle the home screen, you circle the note button, maybe the storage, and then you save screenshots and send them to people, but you could just save the screenshot and then go on Paint and do the same thing. This is a little bit easier, but I don't really see how global handwriting is a selling point, so let's move on. Now, going back into the Onyx's favor, you do have a bigger battery at 3150 milliamp versus the 2800 milliamp on the Smartbook, and the Onyx is 2 times faster. And surprise, surprise, the Onyx is $100 USD cheaper. There is one final thing that actually makes the Smartbook better than the Onyx. Might not be a big thing, but it might matter to some people. And that is that when you start the devices completely bare out of the box, the Onyx gives you 22 out of 32 gigabytes. The Smartbook surprisingly gives you 25 out of 32 gigabytes. Now you might not be thinking this is a big thing, 3 gigabytes, but remember, both of these units are locked and fixed storage. You cannot put SD cards in them, you cannot buy bigger versions and expand the memory. So those 3 gigabytes might be the breaking point for some people. Look at what people said about the Kobo Ellipsa. Someone said that there's no comfort light, I'm not going to buy it. Surprisingly to some people, there are little tiny things that will make or break your buying decision. So does the 3 gigabytes, better screen to body ratio, lighter, thinner, and shorter device make it that you'd want to spend $100 more for an unknown brand? Probably not. But if you did want to buy it, we are selling it and we are working through some distribution with them. We've sold a couple, not gonna lie, but we have sold a couple, not gonna lie. So head over to the Good Reader store if you want to pick one up, and for now this is a full review of the Smartbook V5 color. We didn't even try to pronounce it this whole time. If you have any other questions, comments, or concerns, leave them down below, and stay tuned for youtube.com/goodereader for more awesome stuff. For goodereader.com, this is Peter.